The Huddle Up. Today we will be discussing Thursday Night Football, player stats, injuries, and predictions for Sunday football. Let's get started with our player stats.
Let's take a look over to the drawing board here. We got the Bengals defense with the fantasy points of -1. Then we got the
-1.
Then we got the Ravens defense with not negative, 7 points. Then let's get into our stats for the players. Nelson Aguilar, he had 1 reception, 37 yards, and 1 touchdown. He got 10.7 fantasy points. Odell Beckham Jr., 4 receptions, 116 yards, 0 touchdowns though. He got 15.6 fantasy points. Zay Flowers, he had 3 receptions, 43 yards, and no touchdowns. He got 8 fantasy points.
Not bad.
Then you got the man of the night, he's probably the best player on the team of the night. We got Gus Edwards. He had 12 rushing attempts, 62 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was your man last night. He got you 20 fantasy points.
That for a running back, that's a lot. That's a lot for a running back.
Then you got Lamar Jackson, 16 out of 26 on throws, 264 yards, and he threw for 2 touchdowns.
It's not
He
bad.
got you
It's really
27 fantasy points.
All right.
Rashad Bateman, he had 1 reception, 10 yards, and a touchdown. He got you 8 fantasy points. Then let's go look at the Bengals side. Not much points put up on that side. We got Joe Mixon. His reception yards are 31 yards and a touchdown. It's basically all he picked up last night. He got you 20 fantasy points, though.
All right.
Then you got Jamar Chase. I gotta say, this is probably his worst game he's ever played in.
I
2
agree with
receptions, 12 yards, and a touchdown. He got you 9.2.
At least he got a touchdown.
Yeah, but terrible yards.
That's true.
Then you got the man that's out for the season, Joe Burrow. He had 101 yards, 1 touchdown pass. He got you 10 fantasy points. And that's it for
10
our
fantasy
stats.
points for a quarterback is not good at all. So if you have Joe Burrow, I feel bad for you. That means I also feel bad for myself. So I'm going to give a quick injury report on last night's game, Thursday night. The most shocking, I'd say, didn't happen until about halfway through the game. We got the Bengals quarterback, Joe Burrow, out for the season with a wrist injury. We saw a picture of him before the game, actually a video of him, but pictures were taken. He had a brace on his hand, and this actually led to the NFL investigating the Bengals, and we haven't heard much since. Then we got the Ravens tight end, Mark Andrews, also a scary injury. He's also out for the season with an ankle injury. And then, not so serious one, but a somewhat big name, we got the Ravens wide receiver 3, Odell Beckham Jr. He's questionable with a shoulder injury, but the team has reported he should be fine and returning, but they still have him listed as questionable. So if you have him on fantasy, don't be expecting a confirmation of him coming back anytime soon, I'd say. So, I say let's move on to our Week 11 predictions for Sunday. So, for Raiders versus Dolphins, personally, I'm going with the Dolphins. They've been a dominant team all season. Who do you have?
I agree with you. I got the Dolphins. Raiders have not been showing too much this year.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Next team, slot, we got Titans versus Jaguars. For me, this is an easy Jaguars. They did get blown out by the 49ers. However, the Titans, not sure they could hold up against the Jaguars offense, but we'll see how that goes. What do you think?
I got the Jags. They're both okay teams. Jags coming off a huge loss to San Fran.
Yeah.
But I think that wakes them up and tells them, all right, we got to get a win here, otherwise our season's over.
Exactly. I agree with that. So next up, we have an interesting AFC collision going on. We got the Steelers versus the Browns. Now we have Deshaun Watson out for the season. we have Nick Chubb out for the season. And with that, the play calling and adjusting is going to get a little interesting for the Browns. The Steelers, very bad first half stats, somewhat good quarter 3 stats, but quarter 4, fourth quarter, they've gotten it done quite a few times. They've proven themselves in the fourth quarter, I'd say. And because of that, I'm going to go with the Steelers. Who do you have?
Me, I'm gonna go with the Browns, man. They got
Going with the Browns?
They got some pretty big names injured right now. I still take them because that defense has been amazing lately, and the Steelers almost losing to Green Bay.
That is true. That is true. They do. I'd say have one of the best, if not the best, defense in the league. The Browns.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So next team we got Bears versus Lions. If this was last year, I wouldn't know who to choose, but this year, for me, it's an easy Lions.
Yeah, I agree with you there with Justin Fields returning this week and the Lions defense and offense, how they've been playing lately. I got to take the Lions as well.
Yeah. So next up, we got an interesting matchup. Both teams have had trouble getting the win, really. The Packers here started off pretty good, but this week they will be playing the Chargers. So I'm going to go with a very difficult decision here, but I'm going to have to go with the Chargers.
I agree with you. I took Chargers as well. They're just the better overall team, I think. And
I agree.
Green Bay just hasn't been able to win against good teams this year.
All right. So next team slot we got, unfortunately for Carolina, 1-8. And they're playing the Cowboys. Not a very good combination. So, I'd say the Cowboys are winning this. If the Panthers somehow pull off a miracle with Bryce Young, but the Cowboys, I think, have it.
I gotta agree with you once again. Not much to say about this game. Carolina hasn't been playing good at all. And with the Cowboys destroying the Lions twice, I'd just say this is another blowout by the Cowboys this week.
I agree. So next up, we're going to go 3 games at a time. Just a quick boom, boom, boom. Giants versus Commanders, Jets versus Bills, and Vikings versus Broncos. So I have Commanders, I have Jets, and I have Broncos.
I have the Giants and the Commanders tying because last time they played terribly.
That's true.
What was the last one you said?
Jets versus Bills and Vikings and Broncos.
The Jets versus the Bills. I say the Jets.
Agreed.
The win.
Agreed.
Josh Allen played terrible last week against the Broncos.
He did. The Madden curse.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vikings versus Broncos. Who do you have?
I got to take my favorite team, the Vikings.
You got the Vikings.
Josh Dobbs and the return of Justin Jefferson. I think this defense or offense does not stand a chance against this Viking team. How about you?
Yeah, I have the Broncos mainly because I feel like, 1, they're getting it together, and 2, their defense said, hey, we are actually a top 5 defense. And they actually remember that, and now they're somewhat playing like it, holding up against the Bills. So I'm going to have to take them. But then our next game, which will be interesting, Bucks versus 49ers. I got 49ers.
I got San Fran as well. They had a huge win over the Jags last week.
Yeah. All right. And then Seahawks versus Rams and Eagles versus Chiefs. I'm going to go with Seahawks against the Rams, and I'm going to go with Eagles against the Chiefs.
I have the Seahawks against the Rams. It's a very good matchup, and it won't disappoint. But I think the Seahawks take the win here on the road.
Agreed.
And then for the Chiefs and the Eagles game, Super Bowl rematch.
Super Bowl reunion, yeah.
I think the Eagles want a little get back for what happened. So I take
Absolutely.
The Eagles.
Same here. That'll be a fun game to watch, but to conclude this Week 11 discussion, basically, if you had the Chiefs winning against the Eagles, expect a disappointment. Because if you look at the fantasy differences, not last week, but a few weeks ago, the Eagles, especially with AJ Brown, are putting up so much more than the Chiefs.
Yep.
So, but to conclude this video, I would like to thank you all for watching this new episode of the Huddle Up. I hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you on Saturday, tomorrow, where we will be discussing NFL awards, Rookie of the Year, MVP, who we think is going to win all those awards. So, we will see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.